Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning and welcome to Storytime. Happy Tuesday to each and every one of you joining us today. Thank you. On this very special day, we're celebrating a very special book indeed, and with two amazing guests. So please get ready for that. Get settled, get comfortable, get your hot drink, get your cold drink, get everything that you need and get started. Yes, indeed, we're here today celebrating Ruby's Reunion Day dinner. I hope you're excited. I hope you're ready. I am super excited. I was just saying before that I really get nervous, get anxious about story time, but today is one of those days. It just feels big and great. Big in a great way indeed, in a beautiful way, and I'm excited to be here with you. As always, let me know where you're joining in from and who is joining in with you. And of course, if Angela Dalton sounds familiar, you remember that she brought us If You Look Up to the Sky. Yes, indeed, that a beautiful book that we've read here before, and I hope you have one for your library as well. Well, she's back. This is her new book, and of course, this time she has worked with Jestenia Southerland, and they're here together. They'll be coming on shortly, but please let me know where you're joining in from and who is joining in with you. And I hope you're having yourselves a wonderful start to the day. And if you're joining us from the other side of the world, I hope your day was beautiful, and I hope this nighttime reading and fun conversation that we will have today just uplifts you and gets you ready for that beautiful sleep, and of course ready for some sweet dreams. Yes, indeed. Hopefully not too hungry. Thank you for joining in and welcome. Thank you. And who is with us this morning, ready to enjoy that beautiful story that we have for you? Good morning to you, Laura Atkins. The amazing Laura Atkins is here with us. And you say, hello, everyone. So excited for this book launch. Absolutely. I am buzzing here today. Thank you so much. And good morning to you, Laura. Good to see you. Betty Graydon in Florida. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining in. Amanda West, Nathan and Sarah in Illinois, and they're saying it is rainy today. Well, I hope Ruby brings you all the shelter you need, all the laughter today. Thank you so much for joining in, and of course for sharing how it's going where you are. A cozy story just for you today. Thank you so much for joining in. Tori Gamble, how are you doing in Bothell, Washington? And you joining in, of course, with Liana. How are you doing today? And you say, hope everyone is having a fun day. Well, the fun is just beginning because we have two amazing guests and of course a wonderful project that we've worked on together. I hope you're excited and I hope you are ready for that one. We will be coming back to talk more, see who else is with us today. But right now, I want to bring those amazing guests on. I will not hold you any longer. Welcome to Storytime. First of all, Angela Dalton, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. Peter, thank you so much for that wonderful opening. It was so wonderful. And thank you to everybody who's tuning in. It's a great day.
Awesome.
The sun is shining. Ruby's here. It's a beautiful day. I can't can't believe it. Like it's
Awesome.
happening. So
Yes, and the art in the book, the amazing art you're going to see, is done by a debutant. This so makes it even more special. Jestenia Southerland, welcome to Storytime. Thank you so much for being here. How are you doing?
Doing great.
Oh, congratulations, you two.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, absolutely wonderful. It's just I've had this copy for a while, and it's been one of those. It's just felt special. Like I'm one of the few people that has it right now, and I hope many people get to have a copy too out there. We do have a giveaway, but also just how does it feel today? Maybe we'll start with you, Jestenia. How does it feel to? Today's the day.
Oh my gosh, I'm like beyond excited because this is like my first picture book. It's like the weather is like perfect mirror of like how I like feel on the inside, and the like the beautiful story that Angela wrote. So yeah, I'm like beyond excited.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Angela, how do you feel?
My heart is just swelling. It's about to burst. I'm so grateful to Jestenia for saying yes to this story, and for her to bring her beautiful talent. I mean, you look at the pictures and they're just, the color just jumps off the page. The food looks delicious, which it should. It had to, and she did it. And I'm really happy to be present today. Again, Mr. Lamata, thank you for having us and sharing your platform with us, and letting us like share this book with so many kids. I think when I look at what I was hoping for, I really wanted to read it for kids, and so I'm glad that this is how we can bring Ruby into the world. So,
yeah, no, thank you. No, I absolutely love it that you're here, and I think the fact that Ruby is a girl, and also a Black girl, a girl of color, I feel like that also just has that extra layer for me, and it's such an honor to have you here today. I know that the kids out there, the parents out there, everybody joining in is excited to hear the story, and I hope that afterwards we can come and just talk a little bit more about the book itself, your process and everything. But I would like to get into the book. I'm excited. Whenever somebody else is reading, why not? So all yours, and I'll be right here, but all yours, please.
Sounds great. Sounds good. All right. Well, Jestenia, are you ready? This is our first time reading it together too.
I know. Oh my gosh, it's like those like so special. Like it's like amazing that we could like do this, like especially like in these times.
Absolutely. So thank you. Okay, so we're gonna get started with Ruby's Reunion Day Dinner. Written by Angela Dalton, an author. Illustrated beautiful pictures by Jestenia Southerland, and published by Harper Kids, imprint of HarperCollinsPublishers. So I'll go ahead and share my screen.
Okay, first spread. Grocery bags rustle, pots and pans clatter, and the room quakes with laughter as my family gathers in Grammy and Pop-Pop's kitchen to make reunion day dinner. And not just any dinner, a soul food dinner.
Every auntie, uncle, and cousin has a special something they cook and share once a year. What Daddy calls their signature dish. Everyone but me. Mama, I ask, what can I make this year? What do you have in mind, baby? I shrug.
You sure you're big enough to help a little bit? Asks Auntie Billy, teasing me. I'm sure, I say, but I'm not. You'll think of something. Mama pecks my forehead with a kiss and gets back to her stirring.
I watch my family bustle about and think, there has to be something that's just right for me. Peering over the counter, I see Mama's gooey, peachy cobbler bubbling up the size of her favorite baking dish. The golden, crispy crown of Daddy's perfect mac and cheese. The streaky, unmixed layers of Grammy's hush puppy batter. Can I mix the batter, Grammy? I ask. Why, this mixer is bigger than you, little bit. Next year, baby.
Wandering to the stove, I hear The crack and sizzle of chicken and catfish frying up in Pop-Up's iron skillet, the sharp whistle of red beans boiling in Uncle Mope's pressure cooker, the slow babbling of collard greens simmering in Auntie Patty's large stock pot. Can I stir the greens, Auntie Patty? I asked. Stove's too hot. You might burn yourself. Next year a little bit.
Sneaking sniffs around the food table, I smell the sugary scent of marshmallows melting on top of Cousin Irene's sweet candied yams, the spicy perfume of cloves from Uncle Red's glazed maple ham, the reek of onions Uncle G's preparing to fry. They may be tasty, but they sure do stink. Can I help cut the onions, Uncle G? I look up to his face. I know, I sigh. Maybe next year.
My mouth waters as I head outside, just thinking about the zing of Aunt Lena's pickled okra that crunch when you bite them, the tang of Cousin Titi's homemade hot sauce that stings my tongue just right, the perk of sweet juice from Auntie Billy's grilled corn.
I sit on the back steps, head bowed, shoulders slouched. Whew, kitchen's hot, but the grill out here is hotter, said Auntie Billy, wiping the sweat trickling down her brow as she turns the meats and veggies.
That's when I see it. The perfect job for me. Auntie Billy, I say, running up to her. Now, Lil Bay, you know you're too young to mess with this grill. Not that, I say, pointing behind her. That.
Picking lemons so yellow they make my eyes squint, I press and roll them hard to loosen the juice before Uncle G helps me cut and squeeze them. Then I measure the just right scoop of brown sugar to make a lemonade tart enough to pucker my lips into a heart shape.
After letting it chill in the fridge, I place my jar on the table next to the rest of our reunion day dinner. Looks like you found your signature dish, Daddy says as me and my family drink with sweet relief from the heat.
You outdid yourself with this lemonade, Ruby, Auntie Billy says between slurps. You promise to make it again next year? I smile, hearing her say my real name. Yes, and it'll be even better. The end. Yes.
Oh, that was beautiful. Thank you. It gets, like it just gets better and better every time I hear it. And thank you for sharing that.
Oh, it's so fun to read it with Jestenia. It was just like, oh, we're reading it together.
Yeah. Have you read it together before?
No, this is the first time. Yeah. And I was like,
yeah. Well, my question to you though, is do you have anything? Either of you can jump in on it. Do you have any weird or quirky food habits that you?
Well, as far
or
as
something unusual, like something that you might think, well, I do this thing and I don't think anybody else does.
Oh, okay. Okay, not that anyone else does, but just the real soul food experience. Okay, nice servingware and pots and pans is more like foil, like tin foil, like baking dishes. Yeah, it's easy to use, easy to dispose with. When you're feeding 15 plus people.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. How about you, Angela?
So the cooking gene in my family skipped me. Everybody else knows how to cook. My mother and my grandmother are amazing cooks, incredible cooks. So I learned to be a food appreciator. There's some things that I do make because I learned from them. But I would say a quirky thing that I do with food is I love cupcakes. That's my favorite dessert. And I'll always put it in a cup with milk, almost like it's cereal. And that's how I eat my cupcakes, is with milk in a bowl. And I get laughed at all the time about it, but I think it's delicious.
That is unusual. Oh, thanks. And the other thing too is I'm sure you both had idols growing up. how did you tap into them? Who were they, and how did you tap into them for this book? And Jestenia too, I'm thinking, because as you're coming to it with your art, there is something, like you're coming at it from another angle. So who were those idols, and how did you, tap into them and bring them out in this book?
Oh yeah, for me, my idols are mainly my relatives in the South from North Carolina. So it's like, yeah, it's like that's real like Southern cooking. Is like they're from like a small town. It's like an hour away from any like big city. So it's it's like drawing upon those experiences of them having like church dinners or like little lunches after like a local softball game. So it's like, yeah, growing up is just like that's just like the culture, just like Southern food. You're gonna eat well. It doesn't matter how small the occasion is.
Yeah, and so you mentioned coming from the South, but you're in Delaware right now. So did you grow up in Delaware, or when did the move happen?
Oh my goodness. Okay, like where I'm from is like a loaded question because my parents are in the military. So it's like I was born and raised in North Carolina, and then we moved to like Germany. Then we came back to States, back to North Carolina, back to the homeland basically, and then we moved to Arkansas. So just like across like the country almost, and then we moved to England. Then after that, now we're here and in Delaware. So it's just like a journey, experiencing like different foods.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. How about you, Angela? Idols and how they come out with Ruby.
A lot of the inspiration for the story came from my family reunions and thinking back to when I was a little girl. And a lot of my family is from Chicago. Specifically about 2.5 hours south of Chicago in this really small town called Watseka, Illinois. And that's where my grandparents lived. They lived in the house that my grandfather basically built for most of their lives. My mom lives there now. And but the family would come from all over the country to my grandmother's town. And we had one of our cousins owned a lot of land, like a big farmland. So we would just go there and bring out big wagons and put the food out on wagons. And so when I was thinking about it, I was, realizing that everybody in my family basically kind of had like a signature dish, right? And nobody else was allowed to make that dish. And if you tried to make that other dish, you were in trouble. Like you probably would not appear at the next one. And so I was just thinking about how, the food really was a part of our family celebration, of our family history, of our family roots. And so for me, that was really inspiring to think about. Those are the connections I have with a lot of my family members is through food, and that I'll remember them through that. So that's really kind of where the inspiration came from. And then soul food. I mean, soul food is just, the staple of the Black community, and it's a beautiful food with a beautiful history.
Yeah.
I'm glad to kind of showcase that in this book.
Yeah. Oh, and who is Ruby? Like, who is Ruby coming from? Or is that you? Is that somebody else? Who is Ruby? And then, I love that too. We get so much insight into her thoughts. At one point when she's like, I'm not sure. It's like, she says, I'm sure, but I'm not. That part just resonated with me. It's like, how many times do we sometimes be like, yeah, I think I can do this, but deep down you're like, can I really? Who is Ruby?
Ruby is me. I think every writer draws from themselves, right? So as embarrassing as it is to say that, it definitely, again, I was thinking about my own family. So Ruby definitely is drawn from me. You'll notice that she is an only child. I'm an only child. And just getting, I was listening to you talk about how you grew up in, kind of the same. My dad worked for government, so we moved around a lot as a kid. And I think that was another reason why I like the family reunions, the ones that we were able to get to, because it was like the place, the centering place, right? After moving around and always constantly changing locations and friends and schools and all of that thing, that was a grounding thing that never changed. So Ruby is definitely caricature, sketch of me as a child.
Oh,
Another thing that I wanted to say too about what Jestenia did with the illustrations was, when you look at the family, when you look at Ruby's family, there are many shapes and sizes and many different, shades of black and brown and all like its beautiful palette. And that's my family. I think a lot of times when I see books, there's beautiful books, but the family always looks the same. And, they have the same shape, they have the same body type. And I just love the fact that Jestenia kind of brought that out in this family of how different they looked, and they all had their distinct personalities visually. So that made my heart just sing.
yeah. Oh, that's awesome. How about you? Like, because in the same regard, I feel like Jestenia, you're bringing, here's a story and help us with the process. I don't know how it works when you get the words and when you turn them into this magic that we see, like, so who are you tapping into, like as you're drawing, are you, because Angela is thinking, as she's writing, she's thinking of herself and bringing herself into that story. So how are you also bringing yourself into Ruby as you're bringing her out?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's like illustrators do the same, like, drawing upon their experiences. And I was just like lucky that Angela's experience is like, like super relatable to me. So I was just like, that's like so, like natural for me to like tap into, like the family reunion experience. So yeah, I was like, I definitely drew upon like my own family. And like for the Ruby design, like herself, it was mainly like little kids I babysat like in high school that had the same personality. They were so sure of many things, but it's like when you got deep down to it, it's like I'm still two, So it's like just like child care, just drawing upon those experiences.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, it's good to see this one character that embodies both of you in a way at this moment. It's like and like the book is out. So like what's your vision for this? Like what are some lessons that you hope people can get from it, and or even just enjoyment? What is it that you want people to get out of Ruby? Oh, you hope, and it can be anybody.
I'll go first. I really hope that for me, it's a celebration of Black joy, again, of Black family, of normalizing the family traditions of Black culture. And I really hope to see that out into schools and bookshelves, of just showing that, the similarities, there's a lot of similarities with families. It doesn't matter what your race is, what your orientation is, what your religion is. We're very similar. And the things that are different about us are things that could be celebrated and appreciated and loved and uplifted. So instead of being seen as weird or distancing yourself, embracing the differences and wanting to learn more about other cultures. That's what I'm kind of hoping comes out of it. And then also learning about your senses and using your senses to really enjoy food.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. How about you, Jestenia?
Yeah, like same, like for me, like especially the senses. Like I'm a very like visual person, so it's like when someone opens.
Oh, I couldn't tell.
Yeah. So when someone opens the book, I want them to be able to either like see that, oh, that like tastes good, or either like maybe it brings up a memory of something they've eaten in the past, or maybe they want to like try that food. So it's like I like try my best to like make it look as appetizing as possible to like either do those two things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically just the enjoyment in the moment is my my biggest hope that people take away. It's like, oh
yeah,
oh, this food looks so tasty, yeah.
No, that's so amazing. And like there's a question out here that Harmony put out, and she's saying, like, I know the question says Miss Limada, but it says, what's one of your favorite food memories from your childhood? And I'll throw that to you both. And let's start with you, Jestenia, on that one.
I don't know, just like just mainly going down to like my grandma's house is like I already knew that
Yes.
she would have something,
Oh,
you know. It's like it's not like a specific thing, but it's just like the the anticipation. It's like that was like always like a good time.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
like
I agree with you so much. My grandmother, my mom's mom, she's the only one of my grandmothers I met, but she could cook. I hated vegetables. But then when she cooked, I ate vegetables. It was so good. That's how good she was. It's like, oh yeah. And my mom's like, are you eating vegetables today?
right, yeah. It's like, there's something to these green leafy things.
How about you, Angela?
I always think back to red Kool-Aid. That was my childhood, especially in the summer. I always just go back right to that. I mean, it wasn't good for me, but I loved it so much because it was just the thing that we had, like whether it was at the family reunions or on a Saturday watching television, Saturday morning cartoons. I just every time I see it, it just takes me right back to being a kid, and so I think that's definitely my childhood memory food.
Yeah, that's awesome. For me, it was so we had at my school, elementary school, and you find this in schools a lot in Zambia. There are these women that would come and sell different kinds of things, samosas, popcorn, donuts, whatnot, everything. And these were greasy, right? And so our school uniforms had pockets in them. And so we would buy these things, stuff them into our pockets, and go into the classrooms. And then, you'd be sneaking and eating, and the teachers would get so upset. But the thing was, too, that our uniforms then had grease on the pocket. It was just like, yeah, but I remember that so fondly because we would sell Coca-Cola bottles or do whatever money you got, you're saving, and then you go to school, you're like, that day you're getting a samosa or chapati or whatever it was. But absolutely, yeah, no, great question.
It feels like an amazing picture book, actually.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Oh yeah, no, it's so great. Oh yeah, somebody from Zambia says tumbuas. These are fritters. It's like they're almost like the fry bread, almost kind of. Yeah, and so definitely remember that from Zambia as well. And yeah, is there anything else about the book that we've not talked about? Your process. How do you decide? The author that is listening out there, the illustrator that is listening out there, how do you decide and say, well, this is the story, or when does it become this story, And so well written. So, I mean, there's also so great illustrations that even make it more alive, but like, when does it become a story? And to Jestenia, to you, I'll ask, when do you think this is the end product or this is the finished product? Do you have the vision at the beginning, or does it come as you go? Does it develop? Maybe I'll start with you, Angela. When does it? How did you decide?
Well, as much as I would love to say that it was my decision, it wasn't. This was a book that got me my agent. So Agent Mary Cummings of Betsy Amster Literary. And so, it really comes down to that process of, I had really great critique partners. So as I'm writing it, they're telling me feedback and giving me great notes. But really, it's a collaborative effort. And I actually like that because writing's so solitary. So you're always writing by yourself, that you kind of work in a vacuum. And so when you start sharing it with other people, like your agent or editor or the illustrator, it's really fun to see like how their interpretation maybe changes the story into something better, into things that you never even would have thought of. So I don't know if a story is ever done from a writer's standpoint. It's just you get to a point where you think, this is pretty strong and I want to know what somebody else thinks about it. And you get reactions from, again, like when an agent says like, yes, I want to represent you. And when the editor says like, yes, I want to acquire this and put it out into the world. And an illustrator is like, yes, I can see the vision for this story. I think that's when, for me at least, like as a writer, that's when it feels like, okay, I've done a good job. We're excited to be a part of this journey of whatever this is going to be.
And then follow up on that too. How thick should your skin be as an author?
So thick. So thick. Be prepared to have your feelings hurt.
Yeah. How do you do that? Yeah. Because you're bringing this personal story, and you're having feedback. The word feedback sounds so beautiful, but it is people really like telling you what to do.
When people say a book is like your baby, I mean, I can't think of a better, comparison, because you put so much time and love and care into the story. And like for someone to say like, well, this isn't right, or, I don't get it. Like calling your child like ugly, or like there's something wrong with it. And you're just like, no. And you really want to fight for it. But I think you definitely have to take you have to have a thick skin. But I think it's also important that you have done your job as a writer to research the people around you, to know that you trust them. And there's a reason why you're connecting with them and why you're sharing your stories, because you trust their opinion, you trust their feedback. That they're giving this to you because they want to see you be the best that you can be, not bring you down or tear you down. And so I think while yes, it's great to have a thick skin, I think you can also do yourself a lot of good by surrounding yourself with really great people. And I've been really fortunate to have really great people championing me and helping me make my work as great and strong as it can be.
Awesome. No, lots to learn. I feel like in teaching too, you get lots of feedback, and sometimes it's not the nicest things. It's just like, oh, but, yeah.
Kids are brutal. Like kids, I love reading to kids, but I will tell you, I have way more fear reading to kids than I do adults, because if kids don't like it, they have no filter and they will tell you. And I love that honesty. Give me that honesty, but it can hurt sometimes.
Yeah.
Author visits where I've cried.
Absolutely. I've learned that working with second graders, first graders, it's just been like, oh wow, yes, but you speak your mind. You speak, I appreciate that. Maybe not in this moment.
Yeah, the earnestness makes it hurt just that more. It's like, oh, they meant this. This was not like clouded in any irony, nothing, behind it. It was just
Yeah. How about you, Jestenia, though? Like when does it feel? Yeah, that question I was asking is like, when does it feel like it's done for you, or is it ever done? Do you ever,
Yeah, basically, the same thing that Angela said is just like there has to be like a point, just like where you just trust yourself. And since you're working in the vacuum, you kind of have to have not only thick skin, but like a lot of like self-assurance and like I don't know if it's confidence, but like whatever synonym that, to that, adjacent to that, but you basically have to be able to trust in yourself and still be able to take feedback and to like create like the best interpretation or product, for the, the best, I hate saying it's like a product, but end result, eventually.
Yeah. And same question for you. How thick should your skin be? And as an artist and a creator, and which is a talent that maybe, and you're probably getting feedback maybe from somebody who is not as gifted in that area. So so how is that? How do you take that feedback, and how do you process that?
Okay, that's also a skill that you have to learn. So you can't just learn how to draw. You gotta learn how to take criticism and boil it down to like what best like helps, because you don't want to say like yes all the time and then like have it come out worse or like misinterpreted what the critique was. But yeah, eventually you will always fear notes, no matter how good you get at it. You just got to be able to just like take it and basically run with it, because basically whenever the art director or anyone else like gives you notes, they're trying to help you improve, and that's what you always have to like keep in mind.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I'm just with the pandemic right now, I'm sure family reunions have either not happened or look very different. So how has that been for you both? And I know that you mentioned traveling as you were growing up and traveling in your lives, but then how has that been? Are there any plans to come back together, or how has that been being in the pandemic, and especially like with a book that is so full of memories right now? How does that? How do you relate to that right now?
Yeah, like coincidentally, last year there we had a family reunion plan. It was like the first one in like almost like I don't know 5 years. So that one had to be like delayed to this fall, and like like let everyone like get comfortable and like because it's like we've been in this for a year. You gotta let the trauma like dissipate. It's like even though you're vaccinated, it's just like it's just like it's just you can't just like throw it off like, oh, you guys can go back outside now. Okay, we're good. Like still a little bit of like, caution, especially like a lot of my family's like superstitious. So it's like, it's like just barely coaxing them out, So it's like, yeah, it'll be really exciting to like see everyone again.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Like this book, just going through it over and over has been that, like, just thinking of the little things we want to celebrate, and also some of those things that we just miss so much, and just for me, like even now as we are slowly getting back into part in-person school or seeing friends at a soccer game or something, and realizing we are getting back some of those little things has been comforting. And I think that's what this book does. There's a comfort that comes with it that I appreciate so much right now. And talking about, just family and grandparents going through the different people, and it just brings it home. It really brings it home. To close out, like I mean, you too, I could talk to you forever, as you know, but just to close out, what do you say to that little girl out there that, was you, that is you, and like what encouragement do you have for them? What, like, how can they hold on to their dream?
Oh, well, like for me, the first thing I would tell like a girl that age is illustration is actually a career, because I did not know that until like 5 years ago. So get on that early, like practice drawing, and it's like these things called publishers, and you want to send out postcards to them. But yeah, keep drawing, and but yeah, it's like find like joy and like the little things, because that will help you improve. Like just even though it seems like you're always like retreading the same thing, it's like even though you're drawing the same thing over again, you're steadily like improving, like just I don't know, you're building like that muscle memory, that creative like muscle. And
And had you known, were you always a good drawer, or because at some point I'm sure you learned and decided, I'm going to practice it, so I'm good. But were you good at, if you're like a kid like me, if you're not good at something, you're just like, no.
Right, yeah.
But like, at what point did you think, well, this is actually something I could pursue?
Oh yeah. I guess like when I was younger, it's like I always knew how to draw, and I didn't like take it like seriously until like middle school. But that was when I like discovered like being an animator was like the biggest thing, because that was like the most financially stable thing. I was like very money minded, it's like my parents are like really like driving, because they're in the military. So they're like, okay, you're gonna go to college. It's like, and you're gonna have like a career. So it's like, okay, animator, because that's like the only thing like through the arts, because like the arts aren't like very like pushed that much. So it's like there's like limited knowledge, is like that kids know that they could like pursue like in the arts, that is a viable career. You don't have to be, like a starving artist, the stereotype. So yeah, just I don't know, just like more like information about those kind of things. Like you don't have to just be an animator or a graphic designer. Children's book is like illustrator is a very fulfilling career, and it exists,
No, appreciate that. How about you, Angela?
Yeah, just everything that Jestenia said just rings true for me too, especially the starving artist part. When I was in college, I really wanted to do the creative writing track, and your parents love you and they want you to be safe, and they want you to make sure that you have all the tools when you go out into the world to make a living, and so my parents definitely were they steered me a different way than creative writing, and so to come back to this now is something that I've always wanted to do, is wonderful. So I would just tell little girls that if there's something that you want to do, there's probably someone who looks like you who's doing it. And if not, you can be the first one. You just can't give up. And your parents love you, and they might try to steer you in a different direction. But I think like Ruby, and I think this is kind of maybe another piece of the theme of the story, is that she knew she could do something when everybody else was trying to protect her and telling her maybe next year. But she was like, no, I can do this now. And so I hope that little girls, children everywhere will just know that, they know themselves and they know what they like. And even though there might be people that they love telling them to do something different, if they really believe in themselves and the thing that they want to do, then to stay focused and do it. And they can.
Yeah. And Angela, at what point did you think, well, I can write? Oh, I can.
I mean, I've been writing since I was a little kid. It was something that I just really loved. And so when I say my parents steered me in a different direction, I actually went into advertising and advertising copywriting because you could write and make money. But it wasn't the thing that I loved. But at the same time, it taught me a lot about writing and creative writing in a different way than I had expected. And so I feel fortunate that I was still able to do the thing that I love to do. I just got there in a different path. And I think everybody finds that in their life, that there's always different paths to how they get to the thing that they get to, as long as they believe in themselves that they can do it.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's such great advice. And as you can see too, there are lots of people just, resonating with that message, and can do it now. And just also the feedback part, getting feedback is hard, and I just want to appreciate you both on such an amazing book. It's definitely going on the top shelf, my top shelf. I love it so much that every time I've read it, and then listening to you read it, just listening to somebody else read it too, just gives it a different layer. And I appreciate it. I love the pictures. I love this book. And I hope that all the little kids out there, can have it and can be in people's hands. And I wish you great success with it. It's just such a wonderful book. And if your previous book, Angela, is anything to go by, for people who know, have seen that one, this is so wonderful. I really love it. And Jestenia, oh my goodness, your art, you should see me try and draw. So I'm always so jealous of people who are so talented, but thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
With so many people joining us from, all over Barbados. We have people in Seattle, all over the country, in England. And it's just wonderful to have, have them see this great book and celebrate with you today. It's your day. Thank you.
And it was for a long time coming. It's just like, wow. It's like you published a book over a pandemic. That's crazy.
Yeah. That is, yeah. Was there any different doing work in a pandemic versus not, especially say when it's work that is kind of isolated in doing?
This was my first big project. At first I was just doing little spot illustrations. So when they was in February, I found out on Valentine's Day, wow, that was a crazy coincidence that I'll be coming on this project. So it's just and then a month later, it's shut down. So it's it was definitely a good, test run.
Yeah.
And, working under pressure, see if we can do it type thing. And it's I know it's just weird to say. I'm really proud that I was able to do it,
Yeah. No, just adding to all those pandemic babies and projects.
Yeah.
No, so wonderful to have you both. I really appreciate it. And as you know, just I'm in awe, great respect to both of you. And it's just been wonderful. Thank you for sharing your work with us today, sharing your process, and for sharing yourselves, because you're giving us a part of yourselves with this project. So absolutely appreciate that. And I'll join you in the studio in a second. Thank you.
We've got the giveaway.
Oh my goodness, see? Oh my. Oh.
I was like, you're gonna have people mad at us if we don't do this giveaway. What are you doing, Mr. Lamata?
If you're waiting for the giveaway, please hold on. Oh my goodness. No. Time out.
All right, I will share my screen.
Yes, time for the giveaway. I knew he was coming. Oh yeah.
Okay.
See if I can give you more space. Yeah. Maybe I should hide back here.
So before we do this, as some of you know, we posted on Instagram that we were doing a giveaway for 2 lucky winners. We're gonna have a signed book, a pandemic sign. So Justenia will be sending her signature. I'll be having my signature on it. And then we also have a Ruby's Reunion Day dinner. Oh, there we go. Cooking spoon to go with the book, and on it says Ruby's Reunion Day dinner. Find your dish. Hopefully, for any future cooks out there, you will find your dish, your signature dish. So yeah, I guess with that we'll spin the wheel.
Okay.
Oh.
Yes.
Congratulations, Ayana.
Oh, this is actually cute.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Oh.
All right. No, congratulations.
Congratulations, Ayana, and who was the other one? Malachi?
Malachi Kane.
Malachi Kane. All right, congratulations.
So we'll be in touch to get your mailing address, your shipping address, and expect those in a couple weeks.
Now to close.
Oh yeah, no,
There you go. Now we can go.
Oh no, it has been wonderful. Thank you so much. I'll join you in the back in a second. Oh, well, to everybody that was joining us today, thank you so much. That was Angela Dalton and of course Jestenia Southerland on her debut. I hope you get to enjoy that book. It is a lovely one indeed. Thank you for joining me today. And yes, that is Ruby's Reunion Day dinner. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do join me again tomorrow for more story time, and we will be celebrating brown skin. We'll be reading Brown, the Many Shades of Love. Yes, do join me for that one tomorrow and get to know what it's all about. Thank you so much for being here for story time today. As always, appreciate you. I know you were here, Bolden, Chrissy. Thank you for joining us all the way out in Vermont, and you for joining us here in Zambia. Walia, how are you doing? Good to see you here. And thanks to everybody that joined in today. Laura, everybody that was here, thank you. I hope you have yourselves a beautiful day and enjoy it. Get some soul food for yourself. Get yourself a copy of Ruby's Reunion Day dinner. An amazing book indeed. A wonderful project by 2 amazing people. Thank you so much for being here. Please keep spreading the love. And of course, as always, much love from me. And do remember to be out there. Please follow the health guidelines. Be safe. And we'll be back with our families, our loved ones very, very soon. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Much love. Hugs and kisses to each and every one of you. I will see you again tomorrow when we're back for another story. Bye-bye.
Story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely. Won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely. Won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be